How you folks doing? So, a guy was feeling a little conscious about his age. He just recently turned 47, and he started, checking himself out in the mirror. He's like, man, I'm starting to get old. He had some money lying around, so he decides he's going to go and get a facelift. So he goes downtown, hops a bus down to the plastic surgeon's office. He tells the doc, look, I'd like to get a facelift. I think I'm starting to look a little older. I'd like to undo some of the ears. Doc's like, sure, we can get you in today. It's done mostly as an outpatient procedure these days. So they strap him down in the chair. They numb him up, little nip, a little tuck here. And they give him the facelift. So the doc tells him, go home, rest up, let the scars heal. You should be okay in a couple of weeks. So the guy goes home, rests up, waits a couple weeks, and, takes the rest of the bandages off. And sure enough, there's no scarring. The doc did a great job. He's very pleased with the way he looks. So he walks downtown, and he goes to the end of the street to the newsstand and picks up a paper. And the young lady working the newsstand hands him his change, and he goes, I'm sorry, I don't mean to bother you, miss. I'm just curious, how old would you say I am by looking at me? And she's like, you look to be about 35. And he's like, oh, well, I'll have you know I'm 47 years old. He's very pleased with himself, and he goes down to the bus stop, hops a bus over to the nearby McDonald's, and gets in line, orders a meal to go, and he asks the girl at the counter, he says, I don't mean to bother you, miss, but how old would you say I am, just by looking at me? And she's like, maybe 29. The man smiles even more. He's like, well, I'll have you know I'm 47 years old. And he's as happy as can be. He takes his to-go order, walks out of the McDonald's, walks over to the bus stop to hitch a ride back home. While he's waiting at the bus stop, an 85-year-old woman walks over to him, an octogenarian, and he looks at her and he's like, pardon me, miss, I don't mean to bother you, but how old would you say I am? And she looks at him and she's like, Sonny, I've been on this earth a long time, and my eyesight went long ago, but if it's really that important to you, there's an old trick of the trade where we old ladies have learned a way to figure out how old a man is, but I doubt you'd be interested. He's like, no, I'm curious. And she's like, well, I'd have to put my hands down your trousers. Guy's like, okay, that's just strange, but okay, I'll bite. Let's see if she can figure it out. So I was like, yeah, go ahead. And so the old lady puts her hands down his pants, and she starts feeling around, squeezing, moving things. She's down there for a little bit. And she pulls out her hand, she looks up at the young man, she goes, you, sir, are 47 years old. The man's flabbergasted. He's like, how could you possibly know that? And the old lady looks at him and goes, oh, I was behind you at the McDonald's.